President Trump is deploying 2,000 California National Guard troops, despite the governor's objections to Los Angeles over where protests today led to clashes between immigration authorities and demonstrators. The White House said in a statement tonight that he was deploying the Guardsmen to address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester in California. Governor Gavin Newsom objected to the move and said in a post on X that the move from the president was purposely inflammatory and will only escalate tensions. The president is not backing off his battle with Elon Musk. Mr. Trump said today that he has no desire to repair the relationship and warned that Musk could face serious consequences if he tries to help Democrats in upcoming elections. His latest comments to NBC News Saturday comes as Vice President J.D. Vance is trying to downplay the feud between the two former allies. It started with Musk's opposition to Trump's massive tax and spending plan pending on Capitol Hill. Other Republicans are urging the two to mend fences. This is SRN News.
This is Larry Marino. This weekend, we're calling on you to help send care packages to our troops overseas for Father's Day and 4th of July.
And it's so special. We send our love as well as the packages.
Right now, thousands of our troops are serving overseas, away from home, away from their families. They're missing out on hugs, laughter, and the simple joys of Father's Day and 4th of July celebrations.
They consider it a privilege to serve and protect the United States.
Today, we're asking you to join us in helping to send care packages from Troopathon, filled with love and reminders from home that they are truly not forgotten. Give what you can. $50, $100, $250, $500. Donate $250, receive a $50 food certificate from either Gulliver's or Columbo's while supplies last. Call 833, the number 2, and the word troops. 833-287-6677. Or give online at am870.info.
I wish you could visit and see the smiles you have put on our faces.
And when you call in or give online, dictate a greeting. Long after the treats have been enjoyed, that note stands as a reminder to that soldier that you took the time to remember their sacrifice. Call now. Call 833, the number 2, and the word troops. 833-287-6677. Or give online at am870.info.
They are so special, and they never complain. All the pictures I have ever seen of the people, they're with great big smiles. They are a family. They are families coded together because they know their life depends upon their buddy's life. And so they take care of each other.
Our soldiers will tear up with joy when they receive these care packs. Call toll-free 833, the number 2, and the word troops, or am870.info.
Summer is all about making great memories. Boy, I love getting out on the boat. I admit that one of my little joys in life is to get on a boat and ride around on Tampa Bay. But if you're living with pain, those future memories can be stolen from you. Here's a thought. Try Relief Factor. Let's see if we can get you out of pain. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement designed to help your body fight pain. It's a doctor-developed formula made of natural ingredients. The best part of all, Relief Factor never masks the pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it for good. Whether it's doing what I do, whether it's kayaking on a lake, running around with the little ones, or just chilling in the hammock with a good book, Relief Factor can help you feel better, move better, and do more of the things you love all summer long. So if you're ready to reclaim your summer and make some amazing memories, head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF. Do it now and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That number again, 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
AM 870. The answer. Mistrust, division. It's not what we're moving towards.
This program is sponsored by C&M Metals.
David Hernandez from the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club Show. You are listening to AM 870, The Answer.
Thanks a lot. That sounds a little familiar.
You know, when you're Hispanic, you got to just go with the flow, David.
You got to lean back in your 64 Chevy with twice pipes, and
we need our bandanas.
You need our bandanas. Now, when I was in high school, way before Emily was born, and probably Ariana before she was born, my friend had a 57 Chevy. And he showed up at high school, it was a clean 50s, and he had put a record player you know, on the floorboard, right in the middle of the front seats. And this was like, this was like the old record players where you would play like, 33 and a third albums. And it was like cool. We were able to pick our own music as we're, cruising Van Nuys Boulevard. And that was way before anybody thought about, cassette tapes. When they came out with an 8-track tape, it was like, wow, this is like magic. Talk about that stuff. And then they went to cassettes, and then they went to CDs, and now it's like what's your playlist and all these different things. And so, we have a very beautiful history to protect, especially here in the San Fernando Valley. And that's why we're really fortunate indeed to have a revival coming up on the 21st. So now what time does it start, and how do they register? They can just show up?
No, they can just show up, come just as you are. It is a free event. Doors open at 4 p.m. I'll recommend come early because of the big lines, so you can get in and just situate yourself, get comfortable, get some snacks. There are going to be snacks there, water, and we have some good coffees, and we have some good lemonades. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, we recommend people to come early. Doors open at 4 p.m. The event starts at 5:30 p.m. And we're so excited. We can't wait for it. Today we had our last run through at the stadium with the team, and finalize everything where it's going to be, the setup, and we are pretty excited. We are ready. We're almost there. We're ready almost with everything. So we just pray that the weather is going to be absolutely fantastic. So even in the evening is going to be good. And 21st of June is the longest day of the year. It's the summer day.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow, it's amazing.
Well, it'll be a fun evening. I'm really, truly looking forward to it. I went to a revival before, and it's been quite a while. It was on for the beach, Santa Monica Beach, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see all the because they have the baptisms there also.
Yes.
And it's just like, to see everybody just especially Santa Monica. I mean, this was maybe a year or two ago.
And I know the water there is pretty cold.
Oh,
I just want to say to our coldest, our water is warm. The water's going to be warm.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good because
I wanted to share something very interesting about Birmingham Charter High School when you said about revival.
Okay.
The last revival that happened in San Fernando Valley happened on June 4, 1994 by Luis Palau, the great man of God evangelist.
Yes.
And it happened right in the same stadium, Patriot Stadium.
Yes.
And when God changed our stadium and gave us a better venue, cheaper venue, bigger venue, a newer venue, and then he gave us the history behind it, we were pretty astonished. So God is visiting us again at the same place.
That's
31
amazing.
years ago, like 31 years later, right in the same stadium. So I just wanted to put it out there that
it's amazing how the Lord works, because I know you were, kind of stressed out about the first, place that you were thinking. It was not falling in place. And this is that thing where the Lord, when you believe and you have faith, the Lord will open the right doors, and he will close the doors that are not meant to be.
Amen. Yes, so I believe that. We're excited. We're really excited because this is 10,000 only the bleachers, Marianne.
Oh,
and the field as well. However, we are thinking how we can make it the setup in a way that we feel united, close to one another, and like as one body. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It will be amazing.
And Emily, how can people learn more about your organization or participate or volunteer?
Yes, we have a lot of information on our website, braverangels.org. And we have a lot of we have live events in person. We got very comfortable doing Zoom events during the pandemic, but more recently, we're really trying to get people back out in person, and it's really better for creating meaningful connections in person. So we do free workshops that are open to the public, debates. We have a songwriting club. We have a film club that meets virtually once a month. Really a lot of different ways to get involved. It's very grassroots. So a lot of different people have kind of brought different communities to this mission. And then braveangels.org/events, and you can filter by California to find our events in Southern California.
And now the one on the 24th, where's that going to be?
That's in Glendale.
All right. Do you have the venue?
Yes. Let me pull this up.
Now, are your events usually in the same place, or do they vary all the time?
They're usually in different areas. We're trying to rotate different parts of LA. LA County is so large. We're trying to reach different neighborhoods. So this next one on the 24th is at Unitarian Universalist Church of Vertigo Hills. That's 4451 Dunsmore Avenue in Glendale.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know where that is. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right there off of the 210 freeway. I know that that's where 180 Shift used to have their studios around it, near up in that area.
Okay.
Emily, well, I was going to say our listeners can't see you, but I guess they can, because I'm looking at you here on. And so if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 25.
So you're one of the Gen Z generation.
Yes, I'm at the top of Gen Z.
Uh-huh. And so how long have you been volunteering with the organization?
So I actually started volunteering in Orange County, where I grew up, in 2019 while I was in college. Someone invited me to a national convention in St. Louis. They were looking for more conservative leaning people and more students. And so someone thought of me and invited me, and really had a great experience there, meeting people from all over the country who had the same shared goal. And so I began organizing events locally.
So would be more on the conservative side, as far as that. Okay. All right. So this fit right in for you.
Yeah.
you have kindred spirits in the room.
Yes. Yeah. We'd love, LA's so liberal leaning, of course. I'm really trying to bring more conservatives to this, to our events, to our conversations. It's really a lot more interesting when you have different viewpoints involved.
No, absolutely. I mean, I relayed a story when we went to City Hall to protest the closing of the animal shelters, and with 500 individuals that were there, probably most of them were more progressive. But we as Republicans that were there, Myra from our group was there, and Tony Berrigan, and the first reaction. Well, Myra was like a cheerleader. She was out there in front, even though she didn't have a bullhorn. She was still really loud and very animated, and the whole crowd was yelling, "Yay!" And then when someone says, "You're a Republican," what? And it's like, yeah, and I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I said, this issue is so important that we need to come together. And the person agreed. And so it's that type of mutual working together towards a worthy cause that is so worthy to the people that are there, that the other issues that divide us, there's no room for that. If you want to be successful, and we were somehow, they found money to keep the shelters open, and it was a great victory for all the individuals concerned, regardless of who they voted for president. So that's kind of nice. And now the event on the 24th, is there a cost to that, or how can people?
No, it's totally free. It's a documentary screening. It's a cheap date. We'd love to have as many people as possible come out.
Now, in your organization, is it are there mainly more younger people, or is it what is the average age group?
It's like most nonprofits. It leans older. A lot of retired people who have more time to volunteer.
Don't tell me it's a bunch of 76-year-olds with ponytails and tie-dye shirts and Birkenstocks.
Not always. We have our volunteer. A big trying to think the right word. It's a very big role in Braver Angels that all volunteers are at a 1-to-1 blue-red ratio.
So what would you anticipate the average age to be for the 24th?
Oh, I don't, probably 60s.
All right. Will you be there?
I'll be there.
Okay. So there are people under that are not in God's waiting room, that they'll be there.
I've never heard that one.
that that are there, that have their whole life ahead, and Emily will be there, and Emily's, what did we say, 25, and so go to the Braver Angels website, look up. It's a free, I wouldn't call it a cheap date, but it's it's a good opportunity to meet not only like-minded people, but people who are not like-minded, but are except in the sense that they're willing to discuss issues with a mutual beneficial approach. So that's rather than being right off the bat antagonistic and combative, it's like, okay, why do you? I know you're wrong, but why do you think why do you think that way?
I'm never wrong, David. No, I'm kidding.
And so that sounds like a lot of fun, and we'll promote that between now and then. Excellent. And so now you're volunteering for the organization. So are there volunteer opportunities for other people?
Yes, we would love to get more volunteers involved. It's been, I've been doing a lot of work we just had the screening of the same documentary last Tuesday in Rolling Hills Estates.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really trying to set up more events across LA to reach different people in different neighborhoods.
And what is the film about?
So the film is about the second ever Braver Angels workshop. This was held, I think, over 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
The founder, and I'm trying to think of the other guy's title, but he's a family therapist. He developed this workshop using therapy techniques. There's times to speak and times to listen. Some very profound friendships were formed over the course of this experience. And so really getting to know the characters involved and watching them find what they have in common. And our organization's ever about like bringing people to like a central moderate position, but really just to understand each other better, to understand what the other side believes and what you're arguing against, to sharpen your own side is also something a lot of people take away from our workshops.
Very nice. Now, as far as you're concerned, I'm just kind of curious, what would be like I guess maybe an event or something maybe that you thought was just an experience that happened to you that just kind of really just, because you've been doing this for a little while, that just kind of made you stay, kind of in the organization doing what you do?
I actually did have a little bit of a break while I was finishing college and then moving to LA from Orange County. Really what brought me back was I've met so many great people through this organization. A lot of the people I first started volunteering with in 2019 are still involved. Some really strong friendships in LA and Orange County among the volunteers. And a lot of successful, professionally diverse people come out to these events. So It's a good place to meet people.
Okay.
Do you find it easier to get progressives to participate or conservatives?
It's easier to get progressives to participate because it's a lot of talking and listening to each other. And we found that our debates usually are more appealing to conservatives.
You hear that, conservatives? So braverangels.org. And I see Tracy Schroeder, our favorite school teacher, is on the thread. And so good seeing you today, Tracy. And so Ariana, we still have a little bit of time in this segment. So now your accent, so that you're from Philadelphia, is that?
Because that's somewhere close by. No, from Albania, Europe, a small country on the eastern side.
Is that still? Is it still Albania, or is it some other country now?
No, it's still Albania. It's always been.
Okay, so
yes, very, very
the
old
Soviet
country.
Union hasn't.
No, many countries tried to occupy us. Actually, nobody really achieved much. So we are still independent and going strong.
Now, when you were growing up, I mean, I watch your faith in action. I mean, you live your faith, but for someone who doesn't know you,
Yeah.
They might think, well, you were probably brought up in a very strict religious,
Absolutely not.
very orthodox, very type of home. And when you say no, and
Yes, I mean, I was born and raised in an atheist family and an atheist country too, Albania completely. I never even heard about that there is an existence of a supernatural God. Was never a language on my surroundings, around my families, around my friends. Everything for us has been education. That was a primary focus.
Education and science was God.
Yes, education was God, putting your all your focus to become somebody through the hard work that you put through your education. And until I met God did touch my heart when I was like just 10 years old. And he revealed himself to me, and slowly just grew and grew and grew until I was, by the age of 15, that I was truly met with some knowledge about the Bible. I didn't even know about the Bible at all, but some missionaries from the United States came to Albania, and somehow I got connected to them, and they start telling me about this God that I was already encountered him on my age of 10. But the thing back then is that I wouldn't be able to speak to nobody about my encounters with God at the age of 10 because nobody spoke about it. And I thought I'm kind of delusional or something, something is wrong with me. And if I would have expressed it, they would say like, Ariana has gone crazy. So we have to give some medications
for people like that.
Like, yes, we have to take her. So, but when I start meeting and encountering people that share the same encounter that I had, then it made more sense to me. Oh, okay. And so that's where the doors start opening for me, and I start taking more seriously what I already believe. And yes, David, I think we all need to, whatever our belief is, I think in order to bring some changes, whatever we are, and if we are fighting for something good in our lives and to make some differences and impact whatever we are found, we must walk our faith. We have to walk our faith, not only speak it. And that's what really makes a difference to, so yeah. And then my family was completely against it. They fought me for years for me not to follow this path for years.
What do they want you to be? A doctor?
Like a CEO of some company and like some businesswoman. I love business. So, and they were like, you have a great future ahead of you. Why do you want to throw your entire life for this? Because I believe in it. And I know what it means to impact people's lives through what I believe. And and I said to myself, I'll give up my life for that. And that's what I basically did. And that's why God brought me to the United States about 14 years ago for full-time ministry. In 2019, I got the vision to do what I'm doing. And our first revival was last year, Santa Clarita, which was great success. And this year in San Fernando Valley. And we are heading on to next year, which I am actually announcing it.
Where is this going to be? Where is
LA 2026.
It's got to be LA. Yes. That's a heart right there where we need to really that's a focus. I think whether it's faith, it's the focus, whether it's politics, it's the focus. And, when you're in conservative, the majority of conservatives are faith-based. And so, those two, when you're a person of faith, they merge together in a lot of ways. And they're, I think most conservatives are just, they follow the Bible. They, I think they, I know my husband and I, we see this as a calling, not something that we want to do because we want to run for office or we want to be in politics. We do it because we see that we are to represent the Lord in this area. And it's up to, if you are a person of faith, that doesn't mean you should be shying away from being involved, because you should be involved, because if you're not involved, there's going to be other people representing things that you're not going to like, values that you're not going to like. So you should be getting involved, whether it's school board, city council, whatever area, you have to bring the Lord's values there. That's kind of how we look at it. And so, I cannot wait for the one, and I was, hoping that you would end up there because it needs to be there.
Yes, I believe there's so much need for what we're doing and what we're believing for. But I do agree with you, Marianne, because whatever God calls us to, and whatever position we are in, believers, unbelievers alike, we must work with integrity and we must work with dignity, because that's the only way that we'll be able to bring any solution or any difference in our communities.
Yes.
And it has to be with a right heart and a right mindset.
Yes. Amen to that. So David's looking at me kind of strange.
No, it's like, well, no, and it's great because right now we're in the eye of the hurricane right now.
Yes.
Because there's so much turmoil all around us. And I think it's being reflected in how people are driving.
Yes. Very reckless.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Whether it's their subconscious that has been on edge. I mean, they've probably been watching 24/7 of the news and the flashbang grenades and the tear gas and all of that. And, the fear of the unknown. And, it was, where is it going to erupt next?
Yes.
And so we saw that, that today, we were driving from Whittier, and the way people were driving, it was like,
I face that every day, actually. It's very good that you said it, because I thought, is it only me seeing this? But daily I could face myself. If I'm not extremely careful, I could end up in an accident just like that because of the way people are driving. But that shows that the mental state of people, it's not okay. It's not good.
Yes, it's chaos right now. This is very biblical, and I know you and I, Ariana, we're talking about this. These are things that, this is all meant to happen in the Bible. If you read the Lord's word, it doesn't matter what kind of type of Christian you are, Catholic, Protestant, Christian, it doesn't matter. It says in the Bible, this is to be expected. We know what the signs are. Yeah. And so all I can say to people is that, let's try to be kinder. Find a church, because people are stressed out. Go to church, find a good church. And you know what? There's so many great pastors. Just, get a sermon on your phone. There's so many great pastors, and just find some sermons and listen to them. And you know what? For my husband and I, some people say, well, I'm a Christian, but I don't really go to church. I don't feel like I need to go to church. And you know what? To me, I feel like church to me is like therapy. It's like counseling. I feel like you're going somewhere and you're getting like your exercise and your meditation. And you go into this church where the Lord is, and you come out refreshed. You come out with, it's like your shoulders like a little lighter. And so get in a church, find a sermon. And you know what? Right now, truly, we need a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're down to the last 50 seconds. Emily, thank you so much for coming in, and you have, an open invitation whenever you want to come back.
Oh, thank you so much.
And what is the website once again?
braverangels.org.
And so they'll be in Glendale for the screening on June 24th. So go to the website. Do they have to pre-register?
Yeah, we want to get as many RSVPs as we can, so we know how many to expect.
All right. So all you young conservatives, there's going to be a 25-year-old conservative there. And so, come together in that. Ariana, 2 weeks to go.
Yes.
You're glowing. And the website so that people can find out more.
Yes, at ERIONAGRABOCKA ministries.org.
All right. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Marianne, we'll be back right after the break, and we're going to be talking about what is going on out there in the streets.
Yes.
With Triple B, Benito Benny Bernal.
Yes.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, you listen to the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club show with David Hernandez and
Marianne Bernal.
We'll be right back.
Business owners want to reach your ideal customer and grow your business? Hi, I'm Sue Williams, media strategist here at AM 870. After years of media experience, I know the SoCal advertising market and how to make your business stand out in this competitive landscape. Our loyal listeners are eager to connect with like-minded businesses, and AM 870 has its finger on the pulse of today's rising economy and consumer confidence. I can connect you with our affluent 45-plus audience on air, online, streaming, and using social media, so your message reaches your audience wherever they are. From local shops to major regional brands, I create custom marketing solutions that deliver results without the stress, so you can concentrate on what's important, your business. So give me a call, tell me about your business, and I'll let you know how I can help you take it to the next level. 818-662-3770. That's 818-662-3770. 818-662-3770.
The Morning Answer with Jen and Grant.
The congressional campaign of Representative Waters was fined $68,000 for violating campaign finance rules, according to several reports.
The ethics department in Congress, it has basically no teeth. They don't ever really do anything to members of Congress. But God forbid you're a challenger to one of them. They'll come and look into everything you're doing.
Yeah, they'll keep an eye on you.
The Morning Answer with Jen and Grant. Weekdays starting at 6 a.m. on AM 870. The Answer.
The Answer. Breaking news.
Actor George White's cause of death is being revealed. Here's Brian Shook.
According to the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, the Cheers star died from cardiac arrest with congestive heart failure, coronary artery disease, and hypertension as underlying causes. His recently released death certificate also listed kidney failure and hyperlipidemia as other significant contributing conditions.
I'm Larry Marino on The Answer with breaking news and talk you can trust.
AM 870. The Answer. Mistrust, division. It's not what we're moving towards.
Hi, David Hernandez here. I am excited to introduce an amazing and inspiring individual, my friend Ariona.
Thank you, David. My name is Ariona Grabowska, and I come from Europe, a small country called Albania, and was born and raised in an atheist family. After finding faith and a relationship with Jesus, I was sent by him to come to the United States to bring revival. So our first revival was in Santa Clarita. It was an amazing experience in 2024. And now I'm excited to tell you about our second revival meeting taking place on June 21st at Birmingham Charter High School Patriot Stadium. Hundreds of churches and thousands of people will gather to bring unity and revival in San Fernando Valley. I invite you to join us on Saturday, June 21st. The doors open at 4 p.m. The event starts at 5:30 p.m. at Patriot Stadium. And together in unity, we will see the hand of God move in mighty ways in San Fernando Valley. The event is free to attend. For more information, go to ArionaGrabowskaMinistries.org. That's ErionaGrabowska Ministries.org. And if you cannot attend but want to support this event, you can make a tax-deductible donation at ArionaGrabowskaMinistries.org. Or you can call us at 818-324-5668. One more time, 818-324-5668.
David Hernandez from the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club Show. You are listening to AM 870, The Answer.
Mike's alive. And we're back, and we've got Benny Bernal in the room, and looks like we have Bishop Juan Carlos Mendez, but he circled back.
Oh, yeah. Bishop's going to be coming back. We had a little conversation during the break. And, David, I'm here because I'm very, very, very concerned. As you know, we can go back to during the Rodney King days when we had issues with law enforcement, so on and so forth. And all these steps that we took to correct that, to build bridges between the community, between law enforcement, it's been very successful. And today, what I want the audience to understand why we are so upset as to what's going on in the city of Los Angeles is because many of those men and women wearing the blue uniform, back in the blue, the LAPD, those are our family members. Those are our children. Those are our brothers, our sisters, our parents. This is the reform that we asked for many, many years ago. And now we have that. And we have our own community members coming against our own children. This is why I wanted to come on the second half of the show, David, because I wanted to talk to Bishop. Bishop and I, with Churches in Action, I'm the San Fernando Valley Dean for Churches in Action. And I know there's a lot of steps that need to take place. So, Bishop, are you there?
I'm right here.
Well, Bishop, I was listening to what you had to say during the first part of the show. And you know what? You're absolutely right, Bishop. You hit the nail on the head, and it's really sad because you and I have lost a lot of true community leaders that are out there fighting for the people, fighting for the gente, but they don't get paid to do it. We do it because it's in our heart to do it. And many of them have now gone to be with the Lord. And when I see this type of actions taking place in our city, it's like these individuals who have no knowledge of this are spitting on the graves of the very people that gave almost everything for them, for their families, and for their future. And this is how they pay us back. What do you think about that, Bishop?
You're absolutely right, Benito. And this year will be my 40th year of ministry here in Los Angeles, and it breaks my heart to see everything that's been going on. And you mentioned, the 1992 riots. And I was a teacher at that time near the epicenter of where we had the riots on Normandy. That's where it started. And a lot of those communities have never recovered from what happened there. A lot of the stores in some of our Korean brothers and sisters, their stores were looted. And we saw a lot of vandalism and destruction. And the LAPD was ordered to stand down. And once they were asked to control the situation, it was too late. And now, the president is asking for the National Guard to be deputized as federal, agents. And it's because, we're seeing the same thing happening all over again. And these people protest over anything. They're anarchists. These are people who do not respect any type of law. Today is ICE. Yesterday was George Floyd. The day before it was, they always have something to protest, and that's not right, because what we have is anarchy.
You're absolutely right, Bishop. That's exactly what we have, and that's what really upsets us, is because I have known you for many, many years, and the work that you've done, a lot of the work that we've done. And when we see this type of action, that's what really angers us, it really hits me in the heart, Bishop. The reason why I wanted to have you back on the air, Bishop, because I know that, I'm a former vice president, some of the listeners may not know, but I'm a former strategist and organizer for the Latino Democratic Party in the unions. And this was one of the reasons why I walked away from these people, because all their issues, all their policies that they have been implementing over the past 20 years were leading up to this chaotic moment today, and it was first taking God out of the picture, coming after the nuclear family, coming after the innocence of our children, indoctrination, so on and so forth, creating division. As a former elected vice president for SEIU Local 99, I got a message for Mr. Huerta out there and the Congresswoman Luz Rivas. I went on her social page and I see she's out there fighting for these individuals who are here illegally. Meanwhile, she's ignoring, she was the one that was pretty much leading the fight against parents' rights, against religious freedoms, against, attacking the innocence of our children, allowing our children to cut off their body parts. Now she's out there fighting for individuals who are destroying businesses, like you said, Bishop, and these are minority-owned businesses. They're not out there going after the rich. They're going after the very people they say they stand for, and this is outrageous, Bishop. So I wanted you
I want to ask you, Benito, where was that when those 500,000 children disappeared during the last 4 years?
Exactly.
Where was Javier Becerra? Where was Norma Torres? Because she's a indigenous woman from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
And she claims that she represents the Pomona area, but where was she when 176,000 children from Guatemala disappeared here in the United States? Where are those children? Where was her voice for those indigenous people like herself? Where was her voice? Where was she representing this 176,000 innocent children that we've lost in this country because of the Biden policies? That really upsets me because, you know, we lost 500,000 kids with Javier Becerra at the helm of the Department of Health and Human Services. Where were the Democrats then? I mean, if we really want to talk about justice, well, let's talk about justice. Where are the 500,000 kids? They're fighting for one criminal while 500,000 kids are lost in the system, and we don't know where they are.
You know, Bishop, and I was talking with somebody who saw that I was a Republican. How could you be a Republican? Trump put children in cages. And, you know, when I tried to tell her that it wasn't Donald Trump, it was Barack Obama, her mind was made up. It was impossible for her to hear me. She said, you know, basically, Trump put children in cages, and that and so you have people out there that are very volatile right now. They're some are fearful, some are angry, but whether they're angry or fearful, it's a very volatile situation. And now with the president bringing in the National Guard, we know that thousands of federal agents have come into Los Angeles in the past 24 hours. And so by LAPD and the sheriff's department standing down, they have basically done a disservice to the community as a whole, because now we're going to have federal troops in here, and or, you know, they may be the National Guard, but they're being deputized. And if it gets out of hand, we know that we don't know if Biden actually signed it or if it was an auto pen, but it gave the president authorization to bring in the military into a city if there is political unrest.
Yeah. And, you know, Bishop, right now, it's, you know, David mentioned something about LAPD being asked to stand down. Well, we already have reports of LAPD officers that have been injured because they can't take any action whatsoever. They're being attacked out there. And yes, as you know, we have family members that are out there wearing that uniform in blue. So it's very personal for me. And here we have, look, I want the audience to listen to me. Now, you all have a representative. You have a congressperson, you have a senator, and assemblyman. But right now, your Congress representative, do what I'm doing. I go onto her congressional page and I challenge her. I'll give her credit where credit is due, but I challenge her on all of her policies, all the positions on her public congressional social media plays, because she knows she can't take those down. There's no response. But what I'm noticing is that as I'm doing this and putting this information out there, more people are starting to speak up.
It encourages.
Yes, it's encouraging people.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because really, truly, people have to go on. You have to go on your assembly person. You have to find out who they are. All you got to do is Google this information. Go on your assembly person. You go on your state senator. You go on your Congress, your state or your national senators. You have to do this. You got to go on Governor Newsom's and Karen Bass's page, and everybody needs to speak up. This is not the time to stay silent, because let me tell you, the other side has billions behind them. They got the unions from the schools behind them. They got the billionaires like George Soros, Bill Gates behind them. You know what? You, as a conservative, we don't have that money behind us. We have to use our social media. We have to speak up. You know.
Yeah, and Marianne, you talked about the unions, and that's where I was leading to. As a former vice president for SEIU Local 99, as you know, you have Huerta out there. My message to these members out there, and to Huerta and to these Democratic leaders: shame on you for trying to pretend that 700,000 union members support what you're doing. No, they don't. When I was still a part of the Democratic Party in the unions, I had a mass base of Republican union members and independents who did not like the policies that the Democrats were pushing. So when you're out there telling all the union members and telling these representatives, we have 700,000, well, Huerta was saying this, 700,000 members ready to fight. No, you don't. No, you don't, because 70% of those members don't agree with what you're doing. And I challenge you, call them out. Call them out to come out to a peaceful protest. We will be there with you, and you're going to see you're only going to have a handful of them, and the majority of them that are going to be there are going to be your paid antagonizers, as we used to do back in the days in the unions, pay people to be out there, to be protesting, to be on corners and so forth. So, Bishop, what can we do as a church, Bishop, to move forward? Because we cannot just stand silent. We got to come together. I know I have rabbis, I have the Catholic faith, the Christian faith, all waiting to say, hey, Benny, what are we going to do to take a position and stand up? And I said, I got to call Bishop Juan Carlos Mendez. So what do you think, Bishop?
Well, as we were talking, I remember when Dolores Huerta and myself, we met with Barack Obama in Las Vegas when he was going to do the Dreamers announcement. Well, that wasn't a solution to the problem. They promised us. He ran on fixing the immigration problem.
Yes, he did.
Did he do anything?
No, he
did
did
not.
Nope.
8 years of empty promises. And then we have Biden, who ran on that platform that we're going to do immigration reform. Did he do anything? No, he did not. So we've had 12 years of false promises. So I want to urge all those Latinos that are out there, brothers and sisters, we cannot continue to endorse a party that left us behind.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot continue to stay in a party that is anti-Christian, anti-Jewish, anti-America. Everything that they talk about goes against all the principles that made this country great. So we need to stand together at this time, and we need to hold those elected officials accountable.
Yes.
When Solacho, our state assemblyman for Linwood and Southgate, is asking for people to throw stones at ICE, what kind of leadership is that? Doesn't he understand that there could be a mother with her children driving and trying to get out of the mess, and a stone may land on her windshield, and she may kill herself and the two babies or however many children she may have inside her car? I mean, this is very dangerous behavior, what we're observing in Paramount, in Compton, in Southgate, and in all these areas here. We have to close our services tonight. So tomorrow, I'm going to ask pastors to talk about this and say that this type of behavior is not acceptable behavior, and also to call their elected officials and let them know that when they're promoting nonsense, it has a direct impact in our lives. And also, the Republicans need our help. We need to call the Republicans in Congress and let them know that we need relief. But it's not the kind of relief that Obama gave us, because he just gave us a tol con el dedo,
Amen.
and so that's not going to help us. We need real reform. We need to solve the real problems behind this, because today is ICE. A few days before it was the war in Israel, and days before it was this or that or the other. So they always need a reason to destroy our city. And who's being impacted by all this nonsense? Innocent families, bystanders that have nothing to do with this anarchy, people that are destroying the city. A police officer, a captain, was telling me, he said, Bishop, I'll tell you one thing. If I see a stone coming in my direction, I'm going to shoot, because I don't want to lose my life. I have a family. And we need to pray for our police officers, because they're in real danger right now.
Absolutely, Bishop.
They have nothing to do with Mr. Trump. They have nothing to do with the policies, and yet they're trying to protect us from the criminal element. I want to read what Nathan sent us. Nathan Hockman, our district attorney. He said, our office does not prosecute people for their immigration status. We are focused on crimes that affect public safety, regardless of a person's background. Everyone in our county, no matter whether they were born, deserves to feel safe reporting a crime, seeking help if they are a victim of crime, or participating in the justice system without fear of retaliation or separation from their loved one. We will continue to uphold the law, protect victims, and pursue justice with integrity and compassion. And Los Angeles County is stronger and safer when all residents, regardless of immigration status, can live without fear but saying that, he's saying that if there's criminal behavior, he's going to prosecute people for criminal, not for their immigration status, because people may twist the word. No, he's going to prosecute people that are looting, vandalizing, and destroying our cities.
Well, and I think, Bishop, some people have missed that point, because I see what's really trending is a lot of criticism against him for this statement. I'm hearing people are posting Gascon 2.0, that he's betrayed us, that all of this, and they're not getting it. He just because he was saying that they're not involved in the prosecution of immigration violations doesn't mean that he's not gonna prosecute the people who are committing other crimes during their actions against ICE. So he's not saying he's giving people a free pass. If you attack an ICE agent, you get a free pass from the DA. That's not what he's saying. So
Exactly right.
I've seen that from some of my friends posting, and so I need them to maybe read. I know emotions are high.
Yes.
Take a moment and read that and read what it's saying. He's not saying that the people in the streets aren't going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, and I had that as well. There was a phone call where they said, Benny, well, they're separating families and so on and so forth. And I said, let me tell you a story. We have family members that have committed a crime, that were born in this country, and they have children. They committed a crime and they got caught. They were sent where? They were sent to jail. Where was their family? Was their family sent with them? No. They were also separated from their families. Why? Because they committed a crime. So there are no special privileges just because you decided to come into this country illegally. So I want to applaud Nathan Hochman for his position. I think it's a direction we need to go. Yeah. But Bishop, I think what we really need to do is I'm willing to reach out to Congress, and I'm going to reach out to Congresswoman Luz Rivas, Senator Alex Padilla, who represent our district. And I'm going to ask them, you may know a few others as well, let's sit down at the table. Let's have this conversation, because right now we may have different approaches, different perspectives, but at the end of the day, we have to find that common ground before more innocent people get hurt. What do you think about that, Bishop?
Well, a few years ago, I held a congressional prayer breakfast at our headquarters. And at that time, Janice Hahn was still in Congress, Karen Bass was still in Congress, and Mr. Lowenthal and other congressional representatives. And we talked about how can we fix the so-called immigration problem. Well, we only talk. And every time there's a bill to fix the broken immigration system, the Democrats are the ones that block it, not the Republicans.
And not people need to know that. Thank you for sharing that, Bishop.
People need to know that. And we need to hold them accountable.
Right. I think
they're the ones that are holding this process so that they can use this against us.
Oh, yes.
I mean, they create a problem, and then they accuse the Republicans of not fixing a problem that the Democrats create.
Yep.
Yes. Well, you know what? They have been emboldened right now. And the current politicians here in California are emboldening this, these I guess paid anarchists is what I call them, because many of them are paid anarchists, and they are emboldening each other, and then other people get involved because they see them doing it, so we'll do it. So that's kind of what's happening. But I think President Trump is going to handle this very different from the way he handled it last time. It's going to be very, very different. And so the other thing I want to say is, you know what? There was about, I want to say there's about like 15 to 20 million illegals that came in during the Biden administration. I mean, nobody has a correct account because nobody really knows, but that's just a guesstimate. Now, I know here in California, people are always complaining about how much everything costs, how much housing is, how much rent is. Well, you know what? Do you know Economics 101, supply and demand? Right now, we have a major demand here in California because so many illegals came into our country. That's why you're paying so much to rent a place where you can't even find a place. A lot of people can't even find a place. That's how come so many people can't even buy a place, because in California, it's a sanctuary city. We have so many illegals here. So when you're talking about how much it costs to live here, well, then this is a reason why. So you have to take this emotion out of it and understand this is meant for Americans. This is not meant for illegals. And these are not just illegals coming from Mexico. There are illegals coming from China, from Russia, from the Middle East, countries that hate us and want to undermine us.
Yes.
And so
Good
you
point.
have to understand that these people that come in here are not going to do they're not going to do us any favors. They're going to undermine us.
No, and we see how they're behaving
Yes,
in the
Yes.
streets.
and on top of that, we are billions in a deficit here in California. But nationwide, we are in a deficit altogether. But California, we're in a major deficit. But we're paying billions to house, to give free health care, food cards, and everything else to illegals while you're working hard. This is why so many American Hispanics have
Absolutely.
voted
Yeah.
for Trump this time, because they understand
Yes.
that
Yes,
they've paid into the tax system.
Yes.
And so these people that are thinking that we're hating, we don't hate anybody. Let me tell you, when that border is secure and closed and those drugs stop coming over here and that human trafficking stops coming over here, it not only makes our country better, but it makes Mexico better and many of those other countries better. Because if there's not a reason for all those what do you call the gang members there, the cartels there, if there's not a place to sell their drugs and their children and their women, there's not a place here in America, then that makes that country better and safer too. And those people won't want to come here. Their country will be safe and they'll want to be in their own country, because most people don't want to leave their own country.
All right, so Bishop, we want to bring Brent on for the last minute. So we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, Bishop.
God bless you guys, and let's
We'll
maybe
talk.
have a meeting with the clergy and see what clergy across this county
Can do.
propose.
Absolutely.
And I'd be open to bring different leaders from our different from the 21 regions that we have in LA County,
Okay,
which are
perfect.
in action, and we can have a prayer breakfast, or and then we can pray about
we
this
get together,
and
pray
talk
about it,
about,
pray about it,
possible
and discuss it. All right, thank
Thank
you,
you, Bishop.
Brent, the clock is ticking.
Marianne.
We have less than a minute, but I wanted to bring you on because
Thank you.
it's the famous Brent.
I wanted to bless and thank our righteous and courageous President Trump for sending the cavalry to Los Angeles to crush the criminal communist California Confederacy of Karen Castro Bass and Governor Gangster Gavin.
I love it.
May our city council, supervisors, police chief, and mayor all be arrested for conspiracy to coordinate crimes against our citizens.
Yes. Amen to that.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, and I enjoy hearing you in the morning.
Appreciate you and all you do.
All right,
Good
thank you.
night.
Marianne, there it is. 2 hours went just like that. Look
Oh,
at that.
yes.
We're struggling for seconds there, even with a 2-hour show.
We just never know what's going to happen here. It just kind of materializes as it goes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club show. Go to our website, Los Angeles Hispanic Republican Club. Get updated on the issues. We definitely need your financial support. So as Larry says, put something in the tip jar while you're visiting, and we'll be back next week. Stay safe out there. It's only going to get a little more frosty. So
God bless you all. Y si se puede.
Good night.
You have been